guys, Maria here. In this video I'm going to be showing to you a full tutorial on how to make the top that I'm wearing. The name of this top is Sini and you can find this pattern from kaava.fr. So without further ado, let's get started.
Start by cutting out all of your pieces. You would have 7 of them in the end. Once that's done, interface front and back facings as well as the cuts. Make sure to not use steam because it will have the opposite effect on glue and it will not stick. Next, on right front piece, cut off the excess fabric following the line that is marked on the pattern. We do this because on this side we will have button loops that will be placed on the middle front line. Once that's done, repeat the same thing on the right front piece of the interfacing. Place 2 gathering stitches on the front part that will be later attached to the yoke. To do this, select the longest stitch length that your machine has to offer, -4. Gather the fabric by pulling 2 threads simultaneously on the wrong side and distribute the gathers evenly. Once that's done, pin the gathered part to the bottom part of the front yoke. Stitch with 3/8 inch seam allowances. Before going any further, overlock side seams, shoulder seams, as well as previously attached yoke seams. I do this now because it gives you a neater result than doing it after the seams have been closed. Press the seam allowances towards the top, then pin the shoulder seams right sides together. Do the same with the facings. Stitch the shoulder seams with 3/8 inch seam allowances. Now you can press open previously attached seams. Overlock the outer edge on the facing. Eventually you could cover this edge with bias if you wish to achieve neater results. Next, we will place the loops. Start by drawing a line 3/8 inch from the edge. And next, using your pattern as a guide, mark the placement of each loop. Once you have all your loop placements marked, hand baste each loop individually. For my loops, I'm using a really thin elastic, so I'm making sure to make several knots around it as well as to pass the needle through it so that it will be well attached and it will not move once I will be sewing it. Alright, so I know that the last step must have been quite a tedious one, but now it's done and we can go and pin the facing to the neckline of the garment. For more precision, don't forget to align the notches as well as the seams, and also don't forget to place these pieces right sides facing each other. Start by stitching with an allowance of 5/8 of an inch and then continue with 3/8 of an inch. This is simply because the hem has more seam allowance than other parts of this garment. To better secure the loops, I'm placing another stitch on the inside of the seam allowances and I'm using a really short stitch length 1. Next, notch all of the round parts of the neckline. Place a stay stitch 1/8 of an inch from the seam. Don't forget to fold the seam allowances towards the facing. When it comes to this garment, you won't be able to do this in one step, so you will have to stop when you come to the beginning of the neckline, as you can see me do now. And then you will resume on the neckline. And then you do exactly the same thing when you come on the other side. So basically you do this in 3 steps. Now you can cut out all of the excess fabric on the corners and turn them inside out. Press the neckline while folding the facing towards the inside of the garment. Normally the facing should lie flat unless you're using polyester fabrics, which usually resist the heat and don't get flattened as well as the natural fabrics do. Now you can go and pin the sides of your garment. Don't forget to place the pieces right sides facing each other. Stitch the side seams with 3/8 of an inch. Press open the seams. Let's make the hem next. Over here you can see me folding it twice, 1/4 of an inch. So for the hem you have several options. Either you can pin, as I'm doing over here. You can also baste it, which is really good for fabrics that move a lot. You can also press it, and you can also do it without pinning. So for those who are used to sewing without pins and you're at ease with folding it as you go, you can do it like that as well. stitch the hem 1/8 of an inch from the inner edge. And over here I'm working on the wrong side of my garment. Next, we will attach an elastic. For that, mark the middle of it and then mark the placement. So normally you have the notches that you will use for that. If for some reason your notches are not visible, you can also look at the pattern where you will find the line where the elastic should be placed. Don't forget to mark the middle back as well. And once that's done, pin your elastic at the middle back and at the middle fronts. To attach an elastic band, I'm pulling it from both sides as I sew, and I'm using a zigzag stitch. Let's move on to sleeves and overlock the side seams. Then pin the side seams on the sleeves, right sides facing each other. Stitch with 3/8 of an inch. Press open the seams. Place two gathering stitches on the sleeve crown as well as on the bottom of the sleeve. When it comes to sleeve crown, you have notches that will indicate you where to start and finish your stitches. Now you can go ahead and gather the sleeve crown as well as the bottom of the sleeve. To do this, pull two threads on the wrong side of the garment simultaneously and distribute the gathers. Next, pin cuffs, right sides facing each other. Sew with 3/8 of an inch. Press open the seams and fold the cuff in two. Once the cuffs are done, pin them to the bottoms of the sleeves, right sides facing each other. You have once again a notch that indicates the middle of the cuff. You have this notch on the sleeve as well as on the cuff. Stitch cuffs to the sleeve bottoms with 3/8 of an inch. So first you're going to press the seam allowances towards the cuff. Next you're going to trim the inner part of the seam allowances. you can trim it in half. Next, turn the sleeve inside out and fold and press the cuff. The reason why I'm doing it from this side is because I'm being able to see the final width of the cuff. To finish off, turn the sleeve once again to the wrong side and now fold the seam allowances towards the inside of the cuff. Stitch with 1/8 of an inch from the seam, and as you can see, I'm verifying as I go that the bottom layer is in line with the top layer. Few more steps to go. Next we're going to pin the sleeve to the armhole. As you can see, I'm aligning the bottom seams as well as the notches. Then I'm going to redistribute the gathers and pin the sleeve. For a better precision, there are notches on the sleeve as well as on the armhole so that you can see clearly where to stop the gathers. Attach sleeve to the armhole, sewing with 3/8 of an inch seam allowances. Overlock the armholes. This is our last step. So first draw a line 5/8 of an inch from the side on the left front side of the garment. Then mark the button placements and sew in the buttons. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that it was useful for you. Please let me know all your comments down below and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this.